Banana Slam Jam.
Hello, this is BSJ. This video is going to be what I believe to be the most winningest carries from this patch. And what I mean by that is the heroes that most drastically improved in terms of their viability for the meta. And I at least want to be able to try them when I get to play carry. And they could potentially, even more so than potentially, because I think heroes like Ursa are completely broken, spoiler alert, and will be nerfed soon. These are the heroes that I really want you to look out for in this patch as heroes that weren't maybe picked as much last patch that have drastically become better because of 7.25. So first and foremost, I think the breadwinner of the patch is Ursa. What they basically did was make his Fury Swipes 50% more damage at all levels. They lowered the cooldown of Overpower at max level, lowered the mana cost of Overpower at low levels, and they made it so that his ultimate no longer gives him damage, but they also made it so his ultimate gives him status resistance. So they basically replaced the ultimate damage and put it on him permanently, and then they took his ultimate and gave him status resistance. They did take one overpower charge off of his overpower. So instead of 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 3, 4, 5, 6. But I think the hero can be played like a farmer now with like treads, Sanj and Yasha. Or you go like Phase Mask of Madness Deso. I think those are like kind of the polar sides of this build. And I think one of them is an all-out aggression build where you're not too fearful and you just want to kill people with the Mask of Madness Deso. And the other one's much more of a like survivability, sustain. You go like Treads, Sanj and Yasha, like Basher Satanic kind of build. So these are the two builds that really stand out to me as the premier builds for Ursa, and I think he's going to be incredibly scary this patch, not only because his landing stage got better, but also because his farming speed got increased at all times, and his ultimate's way easier to use because it's purely defensive rather than as a damage tool. Next is Gyrocopter. The highlight I want to give is they made his cooldown way longer on his ultimate, but they made Flat Cannon one less attack at all levels, but the cooldown went from 40 to 20. That means he can kill every single creep wave with his Flat Cannon. That increases his farm a ton. With the nerf to items like Maelstrom that increase the farming speed of a lot of other carries, Gyrocopter is going to become much more of a hyper carry. In the late game, if you haven't experienced it, and even in the past when he has like Ags Satanic, this hero has been one of the hardest to deal with heroes in the game. Buffs to Rapier over the course of the last few patches. I think Gyro is going to be a tier S carry this patch, and at the very least, we're going to see him a lot more than we did last patch, going like these mid-game heavy, like Sanj and Yasha builds, where he's much less about his ultimate, more so about farming a lot, showing up to fights, cleaning up people, and then going back to farming. Because Flat Cannon's such a powerful innate farming tool now, I don't think you need to go the Maelstroms or anything like that. You can just primarily use Flat Cannon to farm, and you can rapidly farm as opposed to what it used to be. My next hero that I really want to try, or I think is a breadwinner, is Wraith King, with the fact that his aura gives him 50% bonus to himself, rather than it's the same for his teammates, slightly less lifesteal for his teammates, but the bonus went from 6 damage to 9 damage at level 1. Wraith King without items effectively has 70 base damage at level 1. And so if you give him like a Ring of Protection, that's 4 base armor, you give him a Quelling Blade, that's 88 damage against creeps, it adds up. It's a lot of damage on this hero. It feels like he's very reliable to get the laning stage he wants. I think like the Radiance into Silver Edge build could be really good, that we've seen like Hector do a lot, or even like the Treads Armlet build. These are all considerations for this hero that I think are worth trying, and I think we'll see a lot of him because his laning stage seems reliably very strong. And if you don't go lifesteal level 1, I would assume you go at level 2 at the very least. You go stun level 1 and lifesteal level 2. 9 damage is just so much in the laning stage. Yeah, it was 6 before, but 3 damage for free is a lot that early on in the game. I have heard that people have already been experimenting with 044, where you just max out crit and max out lifesteal. The amount of sustain and trading, your lifesteal is now 7.5 level 1. It's pretty crazy. The little buffs that make a hero like that be able to trade much better lane matchups, see how it damages you, the farming speed, everything. And my last one, what was it? Oh, my last one for the patch is going to be Weaver. What they basically did was give him 20 mana per minute in terms of base mana regen, as well as extra int to use his Sakuchi, which is his primary farming tool, as well as his mobility tool, as well as his fighting tool. And they also gave him, at max level, 55 more movement speed on Sakuchi. So he moves faster on the map, he farms faster, he can use more Sakuchis, and overall, I don't think the item changes hurt him too much. I just don't think you gotta like go like Maelstrom or anything anymore. You can consider Diffusal, you can consider even like something like SNY, you can consider Lincoln's First if you really think it's going to help you farm. I just think Deso, Weaver, I think the quality of life changes for him are going to be pretty drastic. I don't think the hero was terrible. He was just kind of on the verge of being viable. I think he's good against a lot of the offlaners right now, and I'm really going to pay attention even to streamers like Mason who spam Weaver all the time. I'll be looking for the players that play Weaver a lot to see how much he truly benefited from this patch, but I think he benefited drastically. So that wraps up my carry video, or my carry hero for this patch, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this patch plays out for that. My next video, guys, is going to be offlaners that I think are the heroes I want to try this patch, the breadwinners.